Hello rowing class. Before you get to work on your creation of your own islands, just wanted to go through some examples of human and physical features. So here we are starting with human features. Human features are features of our world that have been made by humans. Okay, so these we call human geographical features. We've just been calling them human features. Let's look at some examples of those. A city. A place with lots of people and buildings. You can see that they've all been made by humans. A town, slightly smaller than a city, but larger than a village. A village, similar to East Harling, is a group of houses. But as we can see, all of those things, cities, towns and villages, have all been made by humans. So we would call those human features. So your island might have a big city with lots of people living in it. It might have a town, similar to Attleborough or Thetford. Or it might have a village, like East Harling or Bridgham, which has a smaller group of homes. To get to different places, we see roads that mean that we can travel between two places. So roads have been made by humans. We often see them being worked on, don't we, by humans. Sometimes there are roadworks in the middle of the road which cause traffic jams or mean we have to use traffic lights. So these are human features, roads. So you might want to include some roads on your island as well so that people can get around. You may have a bridge. Bridges, again, are made by humans and they are built to go over the top of water or roads or railways so that people or vehicles can cross. You might want to think about having a bridge. A dam. Now, a dam is used when there is a large quantity of water. So if you can see from that picture there, a dam holds the water back to make it safe for perhaps a town or a city or forest or something like that. You would find that where you have lots of water, so maybe next to a busy river or a lake, something like that. Shops. People on your island will need to go and buy things, so a human feature would be a shop, a factory where things are made, and a house where people would live. All of those have been made by humans. You could have offices, which are a set of buildings or rooms where people work. A farm, perhaps, where animals are kept and crops are grown. Again, those farms have to be made by humans, so they are human features. A port. A port is a place for ships to load and unload their goods, and also where passengers get on and off ships. So you might have a port so that you can get deliveries in, or that so people can leave your island and come back again to visit. A harbour is slightly different in that it is a sheltered area of water where boats, barges and ships are kept. So this is where we would keep our boats safe. So again, you might want to consider having a harbour as one of your human features. Let's have a look at physical features. These are things that have been created by nature. So they weren't made by anybody. They were just there as natural features. We call those physical features. Let's look at some examples. A beach. We looked at a lot of these when we talked about St Lucia. You could have a sandy beach or pebbles. Maybe your beach reaches the sea, or maybe it goes around a lake. The coastline, we talked lots about the coastline as well. This is a physical feature which separates the land and the sea. And the ocean. We talked lots about the ocean, haven't we? So the ocean surrounding or the seas surrounding your island would be a physical feature. You could label that. You may have a river, which is a natural stream of water. It flows into the sea, into the lake or into another river. So maybe you have more than one river that connect to each other. Do you have some hills? Do you remember when we were making our model of St Lucia and we made some areas taller than the others, didn't we? Higher than the others by building up our salt dough. And they are natural. They're not as high as mountains. They're more gentle, as you can see from the picture, but you might like to include some of those. You may have a forest, which is a large area covered with trees and plants. A valley is an area I don't think we've talked much about. I'll go back. I can't go back. A valley is an area in between areas of high ground and runs like in between mountains. We haven't talked much about that, but that might be a nice physical feature to include. So you can see there, not so much of a beach there. Instead, there's a high piece of rock at the edge of the sea, which was called a cliff. A mountain, we've talked about mountains before. They're taller and harder to climb than hills. You might want to have a physical feature of some mountains, perhaps, maybe one or two, or maybe a mountain range, which is a collection of mountains. Now, the soil and vegetation is physical features. So you might want to think about, is there lots of plant life on your island? Is there lots of grass perhaps? Is there lots of flowers growing? Or is it made up of earth?